2 Kings chapter 20. We'll be looking at the life of Hezekiah. And from the life of Hezekiah, I've coined a topic titled Generational Mindedness. The thrust of this topic is how to live a life that is mindful of the next generation. How to live a life that is conscious of the next generation. Before then, let's go to the Lord in prayer. Spirit of God, we ask thee for light in your word this morning. In your word, you declare that the entrance of your word gives life. We know the entrance of your word gives understanding. We know the entrance of your word is able to illuminate our heart and open our spirit to receive that which you have for us and grace us to become the person you want us to be. In this morning service, we ask the Lord, you anoint my lips like the pen of a ready writer, and bless every viewer that is listening this hour. For in Jesus' mighty name we pray. We're looking at the life of Hezekiah, and we're going to learn how to be generationally mindful. Hezekiah is a very interesting king, one of the most interesting kings for me in Judah. Interesting because he had a life that is worth our attention, that deserves us giving him an attention. Hezekiah, we're told, was the 13th successor of King David. And as the 13th successor of David, his father Ahaz was a terrible man. His father Ahaz was a wicked man, as written in God's word. Such a wicked man that in the book of Second Kings chapter 16, there's something written about his father. I would like us to go there, and then I'll draw a lesson from there. Looking at the father Ahaz in the book of 2 Kings chapter 16, in the 17th year of Pekah, son of Ramaliah, Ahaz, son of Jotham, king of Judah, began to reign. Verse 2. Ahaz was 20 years old when he became king, and he reigned in Jerusalem 16 years. Unlike David, his father, he did not do what was right in the eyes of the Lord his God. Verse 3. He followed the ways of the kings of Israel and even sacrificed his son in the fire, engaging in the detestable practices of the nations the Lord had driven out before the Israelites. So imagine Hezekiah growing up in a home where this was the CV of his father. This was what the father was known for. A wicked king, a godless king, who even sacrificed his son. He was that wicked, for lack of conscience or whatever, he sacrificed his son. That was the environment that Hezekiah grew up. But you see, though Ahaz was a wicked king, he gave Hezekiah a very prophetic name. Hezekiah in Hebrew means Yahweh is my strength, or Yahweh strengthens me, which in today's terminology will say God strengthens me, or will say God is my strength. Though he had a godless father, but the father taught it wise. The father knew the meaning of names and gave him a biblical name, gave him a prophetic name, gave him a name that connotes that this child was going to have a great destiny. Hezekiah was named Yahweh is my strength. What does that suggest to us? That it is possible to be a young person growing up in a society that is corrupt, that is full of evil, and still choose to stand out. It's very possible. You know, humanly speaking, when you look at the society, I don't know which country you are watching me from, when you look at the society, it's possible to see fathers, to see parents who are not living right. Parents who are as wicked as he is. And sometimes you try to justify that it's not my fault, that's how the society is. We're going to learn from the life of Hezekiah that he didn't follow that school of thought. For Hezekiah, despite the fact that he grew up in such an environment, yet he chose to stand out. Yet he made up his mind that for him, He wasn't going to follow the ways of his father, the ways of Ahaz. So young people listen to me, children listen to me this morning. I don't know, maybe you were born in the slum or you were born in the ghetto. I don't know, maybe the situation around you looks ugly, looks so unkept, looks so wicked in your own understanding. You don't have to replicate the history of your parents if the histories are not godly, if the histories are not good for the society. So we look at Hezekiah. Who was this man Hezekiah? In 2 Kings chapter 18, verse 1 to 4. 2 Kings 18. We've seen the father of Hezekiah, Ahaz. Now let's look at the young man called Hezekiah, who became king at the age of 25, and he ruled Judah for 29 years. Let's look at the book of 2 Kings chapter 18. Who is this man called Hezekiah? In the 3rd year of Hosea, son of Elah, king of Israel, Hezekiah, son of Ahaz, king of Judah, began to reign. He was 25 years old when he became king, and he reigned in Jerusalem 29 years. His mother's name was Abijah, daughter of Zechariah. Verse 3. Look at the CV. Verse 3. 2 Kings chapter 18, verse 3. He did what was right in the eyes of the Lord, just as his father David had done. He removed the high places, smashed the sacred stones, and cut down the Asherah poles. He broke into pieces the bronze snake Moses had made. For up to the time the Israelites had been burning incense to it, it was called Nehushtan. In chapter 16, we were told the life of Hezekiah's father, Ahaz. In chapter 18, we will now be informed of the life of Hezekiah. Viewers, I'm sure if you look at these two lives, they are parallel. They are no meeting point. You see, the father, we're told the father lived a godless life. He was so godless that he could sacrifice his own son. I don't know what kind of conscience that man had. Here we are with Hezekiah, who we've been told that he followed the way of his father David. He did what was right in the sight of the Lord. So, beloved, if you want to be generationally minded, you must understand that you have to make up your mind to stand out. Kids, listen to me at home. Young people, listen to me at home. You must primarily make up your mind that you are going to stand out. You are going to stand out not because the society suggests that you should stand out. You are going to stand out because you want to leave your own legacy behind on the sand of time and eternity. You want that when your own name is mentioned after you are long gone, you'll be remembered as someone who fears the Lord. You'll be remembered as someone who left an indelible mark on the sand of time. So Hezekiah didn't follow the ways of his father, even though he saw what the father did. So young people, you have to make up your mind to make your own mark on the sand of time. Older adults, listen to me this morning. You have to make up your mind to make your own mark on the sand of time. Because we are not going to identify you by your father, by your parents, by your society. We are going to identify you by your own life. And it's very important to understand that life is about creating memories. Whatever kind of life you live in, beloved, you are creating memories. Those memories becomes your story. Those memories becomes your narrative. You see, the narratives and the stories becomes what you'll be identified with. So let's learn from Hezekiah this morning, who made up his mind to stand out. And indeed, he stood out. Indeed, he stood out. He saw that his father was godless. His father worshipped idols. His father even gave room for people under his tutelage to worship idol, but not Hezekiah. It's possible you growing up seeing that your father doesn't have a life worth emulating. Don't forget, someday you too are going to be a father, you're going to be a mother. So you can decide to niche your own style of life. In fact, somebody said, God has given us life. It's your choice to choose your style, and whatever style you choose becomes your lifestyle. God has given you life like he gave Hezekiah. It's up to you to choose your own style like Hezekiah chose. You see, but whatever style you choose, that becomes your lifestyle. And your lifestyle is what your generation will grow up to know you with. Let's pick a few more lessons from the life of Hezekiah. Hezekiah was a praying man. In 2 Kings chapter 19, from verse 14 to 17, from verse 14 to 19, I beg your pardon. 2 Kings chapter 19, from verse 14 to 19. We were told of a season under his leadership where he had a threat from the king of the Assyrian, Sennacherib. Where Sennacherib then, it was the power that was then, like we have world powers today. He was the world power of his own time. And he threatened God's people. And look at what the Bible said our man Hezekiah did. From verse 14, the Bible said Hezekiah took the threat before the Lord, and he went to say, oh God, will you watch this man say this kind of things against your people? Because Sennacherib said, you think you trust in God? God can't save you from my hands. And I see Sennacherib had CVs of nations that he has conquered. So he rolled the CVs to Hezekiah to say, you can't trust on your God. Your God cannot defend you, because there were nations also who trusted on their God and their God couldn't defend them. But you see, we are looking at a man who was a praying man. We look at a man who knew what it means to depend on God. And because of his dependence on God, he went to the Lord in the place of prayer. Needless to remind you, if you read the entire verses, you will realize that God actually gave him victory. So he was a praying man. Also, let's look at the book of 2 Kings 20. 2 Kings 20. When God himself sent a prophet, Isaiah, to Hezekiah. 2 Kings 20, I'll read verse 2. When the prophet came and told him that, you know what? In verse 1, you know what? Hezekiah, put your house in order, because you are going to die. That was a message from God to this man. Put your house together, because you are going to die. Message from who? Message from the Lord through prophet Isaiah. And let me add this. One of the things, the principles, or the persons in Hezekiah's life that made him successful was Isaiah. Remember, he was 25 years old when he became king. If you read the annals of his life, you will see that Isaiah was very, very instrumental in helping him to become the kind of king he became. And let me add on that note, that's why mentorship is very, very important. If you are going to be a successful person in life, if you are going to be someone who will make impact on the sand of time, it's profound that you get a mentor. It's profound that you have people in your life who talk into your life to help you become the person that God wants you to be. I've come across some people who say, no, I don't need anybody to help me. I'm an island. I know what to do. If I come across such people, I can tell how far they will go. I can tell how limited they're going to be. Not because I'm able to see the future, but because by people's precepts, you can tell their destinations. For Hezekiah, he had Isaiah, who was instrumental in helping him to stay on track with the Lord. Whatever profession you are into, please look for mentors. Whatever career path you've chosen, look for mentors. Let there be people that can guide you, that can challenge you, that can criticize you, that can dare you to become better. Let there be people that at the thought of their name, you are on track. I have a lot like that in my life. There are people that when I think about their investment in my life, when I think about how so much they believe in me, they trust in what God has called me to do, it keeps me on my toes. So it's very important. You are a child, you are a young person, you are an older adult, you are whatever career you are into, whatever state of life you are, you need a mentor. To be a good father, you need a mentor. To be successful as an engineer, to be as